7 seconds, a very short span of time. Let's close our eyes and feel the beep down to 7 seconds. Here, there it is. That was 7 seconds, very short. Well, I want to take my time to share a story with you, a true story, which took place in my home country, Haiti. One morning, January 12, 2010, my fiance and I met up before going to our university classes to offer a prayer of thanks and to ask for guidance for the new year. We were soon to be married, we were excited and anxious at the same time. We're so looking forward to raise a beautiful family, find jobs. We arrived at the university about 25 minutes early. We made our way to our different classes. I walked into my classroom with about 5 minutes to spare and sit down and reviewed some of my homeworks. Other students filled in and did the same, but I really didn't notice because I just was in my little bubble, right? And suddenly, the earth started shaking without warning, violently. The building collapsed. Students were screaming and holding onto each other, and people were pinning on their heavy cement walls. I grasped onto those closest to me and offered in silence the shortest, most sincere prayer we've ever done. When the earth finally settled down, I slowly opened my eyes. All I could see was a massive brown cloud of dust. Nothing made sense. I was now also alone. What happened to all these students? Where did they go? I somehow got my way outside, but the intensity of the dark cloud was so frightening that I wanted to go back to some kind of inside. There were no inside by now, right? I looked around. I finally saw some other students running around and screaming and asking about their friends and wondering what happened, what was that? I was in desperate, looking for my fiance. When we finally found each other, he made sure that we were safe and went back to try and save some other students stuck under big rubbles. Now, a few hours later, we started walking home to his home, which was closest to the university. As we walked, we witnessed the terrible destruction. All these years later, it is still beyond my ability to describe. According to official reports, the earthquake lasted only
7 seconds.
Yes, there were aftershocks, but most of the terrible decimations and carnage happened in those first 7 seconds. Hundreds of thousands of people died in 7 seconds? I still could not wrap my head around it. My fiance and I had wondered if we would even see our family on our way home, right? There were no cell phone service, no internet, no communication, not at all, and certainly not in any of the rapid ways of life we become so used to, right? No cars. But we did. We made it home. We found our families, and it took me 3 days before I finally talked on the phone with my mom. So very soon after the earthquake, doctors, volunteers, and other trained people who are really trained to help in the aftermath of natural disasters all these doctors became arriving in our country. This was such a thankful sight, but I was struggling. I had anxiety, I had panic attacks. Those 7 seconds of the earthquake never left my mind. And at that time, it felt like it was 7 hours. So I wanted to be around other people to feel safe, but I also wanted to be left alone so I could process my thought of what just happened. I also wanted to hide because as someone who speaks English in Haiti, I knew they would ask me to go and help the doctors and interpret. I knew that I would have to work personally with them and go to the hospital and see rooms and be part of it. I don't even like to go to pharmacies, okay? So, in those initial days, we camped with many others on the ground of our church. We sung and prayed together and looked up to the majesty of the stars every night. We sleep outside. It was comforting. But there was a soft voice inside of me telling me that I was needed, that I could and I must help, that I could not hide anymore. So I decided I would follow the voice. The moment of a decision doesn't last very long. By that I mean standing up or staying down only take a few seconds, maybe about 7 or less, right? So I started working every day, going everywhere with the doctors, but my mind and body were exhausted every night. I was grateful I had listened to that little small voice and choose to do what is right. I was grateful that I was gifted a second chance of life. So day after day, we became good friends with the doctors and co-workers. We were truly on a mission with a purpose to connect, bring hope, to love on these people, to love on my people, and to help them do their job. These people were desperate. One time, we even helped deliver a baby on a ping pong table. I hope this girl is a good ping pong player now. So many of those moments of service and connection were just that. Moments, seconds, maybe 7. Because sometimes that's all we have. But I saw what great things can happen in just a few seconds. See, it only took 7 seconds for an earthquake to destroy my home country. It took over 200,000 people's lives. But guess what? This is roughly the same amount of seconds it takes to make a decision of a lifetime. A decision to do good, a decision to make a difference in your life, a decision to count blessings, hug somebody, love on people, smile more, give something to the person down the street who's homeless, right? 7 seconds, you can say hello and make someone feel better. Seven seconds back in 2010. Changed my whole life. First of all, gave me an opportunity to pray and plead for my life when it looked like it was over. And it gave me the time to decide to get up and do something. Sarah Denson says, there comes a time when the world gets quiet and the only thing that is left is your own heart. Listen to your heart a bit more often and act upon what it says. 7 seconds or a few seconds more or perhaps a few seconds to a minute, right, has provided a lifetime eye-opening for me and helped me take the time to be more present, to disconnect so I can reconnect, to create, to co-create, to build, to help, to serve, and to do many, many more things. I wish and pray the same thing for you today. Thank you.